And welcome to our Tuesday afternoon Los Angeles Area Real Estate Association of Real Estate Investors. We get together every Tuesday and talk about all things real estate related in terms of investing. Let me correct that. It's Los Angeles County Real Estate Investors Association. The website is LAREIC. This is the official podcast for Lord Siegel's organization. We get together and talk about all things regarding real estate investing, how to make money as investors, how to make money in business as professionals in the business. So, and just a real quick plug for the organization, the event, the LA Real Estate Investor Association LLC, LARIC is the website. Every month, this is the best event in Los Angeles for my money because it's free, the Real Estate Vendor Expo. And it's the second Thursday of the month, which means this month is going to be Thursday, 2 days from now, November, whatever date that is, so November 8th, 10th, 6:30 at the Iman Center. We say in Culver City, technically it's Los Angeles, Culver City area. And it's so great. It's Iman Center, which is for Muslims. I'm Jewish, and I go. And I don't go out at night for work. I work hard 8 to 5 normally during the work days. But it's a great event. You get about 250 people there. There's a picture of the crowd. Where is that? Hold on. I missed it. It's on the front page. Anyhow, we got 250 people there, and then you get this vendors table, about 50 professionals who are promoting their businesses, which really I get as much learning from them as I do the actual program. And then there's a program for free starting at 6:30. And I don't know why I'm having trouble finding the stuff this week. But anyhow, we'll go back to the front page. And that's what it looks like with the speaker. There's 250 people in the room about. That's the Vendor Expo. And this month's speaker is Steve Matley. And he's going to talk about how to acquire and develop raw land. I'm going to tell you, whether you have money or not, if you find good deals, he has people and he'll show you how to get people who help you acquire the land. And again, the price of that is free, my favorite. And again, it's Thursday night, November 10th, which is 2 nights from tonight, 6:30 to 9:30. But get there earlier for the Vendor Expo. And you'll see me. I'm the official live streamer of the event. So I love that event. This is my favorite, other than my own a brew event, which is with beer involved, my favorite event of the month. Not to be missed. Again, free parking if you get there early enough, and conveniently located for those of us in LA and the Iman Center. Okay, so let's talk about business today. I wanted to share with you kind of some ideas I have on the real estate industry and where we are in the process. So I know a little bit about real estate. I've been in the business for 36 years. And I talk to people all the time lately who will say it's a bad market. Well, we all know it's a bad market. We know it's a down market. I don't agree with that. You know, in poker, you can win a hand with the worst cards, and you can lose a hand with the best cards. It's how you play it. Another way to think of it, I think, is if you think about sailing. If you've ever been on a sailboat, this is a map of a sailboat race. This is actually Olympic formation. But you can see in the Olympics, you go this direction. We'll call it north, and then you kind of go southwest, and then you go southeast, and then you go kind of northwest, and you come back home due south. But you notice that in all times, the wind is coming in this direction. So in the beginning, they're going straight into the wind. The rest of the time, they're sailing at angles to the wind. And only at the end are they with the wind at their back. And I want you to think about the real estate industry for the last 2 years as being the wind at your back period. Now, do you go faster then? Well, you certainly go faster than the water then. You don't go faster than your competition then because everybody has the wind at their back. And for the last 2-3 years, a monkey could sell a house. Anybody could sell a house. And it'd sometimes be frustrating that you would do something that was of value and customers wouldn't appreciate it. I had customers who would think, well, you could sell a property for anything. And they just make up a number. And it happened for a while until it stopped. So now we have the wind blowing in our faces rather than at our back. But in sailing, all you would do when the wind is in your face is instead of sailing the way you normally would, you would sail what's called tacking. You turn to the sides. And in that way, the wind is capturing part of the sail and still pushing you forward. So even into the wind, you just tack across the wind and you still move in a forwardly direction. It's more work. It requires some teamwork. It requires different equipment, different sales, or sells up and then sells down. But in sailing, you have to be able to sail into the wind half the time. Just like in business, I believe you have to sail into the wind about half the time, because I've been in this business for 36 years. If every time the industry got tough, if every time interest rates went up, I went out of the business, I would have been out of the business a long time ago. And people who build businesses over time do it because they year after year after year build the business. These are the markets where you pass the competition, where you build systems, maybe not the same amount of wealth, but you can build good income and good wealth. And then when inevitably the wind stops being in your face, but maybe side to side or at your back a bit, that's where you profit tremendously again. So I want you to think about the market as just the direction of the wind right now, or the cards you're dealt. How are you going to deal with them as you build your real estate business or real estate practice or invest in real estate? And whatever you do, I want you to think about with clarity where you're supposed to operate. So I know for a lot of people, you're looking to relaunch your business. Maybe real estate was a side hustle and your current job might be a challenge, or your current business might be a challenge. For some of you, you're in real estate full time and what you're doing isn't working as well or consistently. And I can tell you in the real estate industry, about a third of the realtors have exited the business in the last 12 months. And the real estate industry expects to continue. But I'm still making really good money at this business. And I want to share with you why I think that is, because in this same position in my personal life about 4 years ago, I had to reevaluate. And I'm going to walk you through the steps that you need to take right now, because the market's different than it was when you started or you were participating in it the last few years. You got to reevaluate based on the current reality. So what do you have to do? So one thing, when people say you have to find your niche and the niche that works in this market, what do they mean by that? So one way to think of it, this is a classic diagram done by Jack Welch's wife, Susie Welch. What she says is you have to find what your skills are, what the business opportunity is, what your interests are, and work in that middle, and that's where you'll be. She calls that your area of destiny. I would say circle what I'm good at or great at or best at, what the market needs, what I like to do or want to do, and the intersection of those three is where I want to operate. The more that I can operate in an area where I'm really good at something that the market's paying money to do and that I enjoy doing, that's where I'm going to be at my best. That's where you'll be at your best. So I want to talk a little bit about how to find that, and I'll share with you kind of the process I used to get there. So behind me, I actually have a whiteboard, you'll see, and I also have some butcher paper pads. And literally 4 years ago, when I left a job, I'll share with you guys, I think I've mentioned before, I got into sales and then into management, thinking that was the career path. And I discovered at 60 that I didn't want to continue, that the companies I was working for just were not doing what they're supposed to do. You know, they were going to limit my growth, and I didn't want that to happen. And they weren't committed to growing. And I realized at 60 I had to relaunch my career, really, or my business. And so I sat down and looked for the intersection of those three things. And basically, all I did was I made 3 lists. One list is, what am I strong at? What am I particularly good at? The second was, what do I enjoy doing? What's fun? What do I want to spend my time doing? And the third is, where's the industry opportunity? So for me, my strengths are I'm a hard worker. I have good technical skills with computers. I had a lot of general real estate experience. I'm organized and disciplined. Those are my strengths. So just like in football, the big guys want to limit the game to the running game or right in front of them. And the smaller, faster guys want to be out in space. I wanted to, as much as I could, limit the business to areas that I was strong at. Second of all, what do I enjoy doing? I enjoy educating and teaching. I enjoy technology. I enjoy learning, and I enjoy success, making money. Of course, we all do to some degree. So I looked at the industry opportunities. Expired listings, very competitive. I'd done that before. I didn't really have any particular advantages there. Referral marketing, a lot of coaches and trainers emphasize working referral market. I didn't have any particular referral market that was particularly of value. Social media marketing, a lot of people have done real well in that. I didn't have any particular strengths or expertise there. Maybe I could have learned it at the time. But when I looked at probate, it played to some strengths because in addition to these, I'm older or experienced, which I think that plays well because typically probates are either older, the property owners, or the attorneys skew older. And also, it hit all the buttons. I like educating people and teaching them about probate. I like learning. And so this, I'm really shortcutting what for me was about an hour-long process of deep soul searching in these three areas. But at the end of that time, I realized where my niche was, where I wanted to operate. And it was a combination of what I was good at, my strengths, combination of what the market opportunity was, and what I enjoyed doing. So for example, I had done cold calling 3 or 4 hours a day. I didn't enjoy it anymore, but I loved going to court. So when I did my research and saw going to court as an option, I picked that as my lead generation technique. And so I did that from 4 years ago till COVID shut down the court about a year and a half later. And then relaunched and changed my technique to social media, and that's why I do what I do today. So I want to say that was the exact process that I went through. No different than I think anybody here looking to relaunch the business has to do. And then I want to offer you what you need to do once you figure out your bullseye, right? And when you hit a bullseye, if you just miss it, of course, maybe 10 points in the bullseye and 9 points around it, 8 points around it, at least if you're aiming at the bullseye, you're more likely to get 9s and 8s than if you don't know where the bullseye is, right? In target shooting, you always want to focus on the bullseye. And it doesn't mean you can hit every time, it means that's where you're aiming. Once you have your bullseye though, you need to, in this market especially, you need leverage. Because one thing I tell you is the market is definitely down in terms of number of sales. And there are a lot of desperate competitors in the marketplace. And so what I will say is maybe it's true the market's gotten harder. It's certainly not easy. I don't think you ever want it to be easy. But if it's hard, but you're harder than the market, you're going to do well. You can be harder than the market if you use leverage to help you. I think it was Archimedes said, if you give me a big enough lever, I can move the world. And so you would think about leverage with 3 things. And I talk about this all week, really. One, momentum. Any momentum you have, you want to use it. It's so hard to get started, but once you're rolling, you want to use that to your advantage. So if you have an escrow, you have a sale, use it. Use it in social media. Make sure you talk about it to people. I signed the biggest listing in my career last week. I've been saying that as many times as I can. Why do I say that? It tells you I'm doing business. I closed the biggest commission check of my career last month. Why do I say that? Because I want people to know I'm in momentum. Everyone wants to work with somebody who's doing well. So you have to find a way to use business. Now, you didn't have to 2 years ago. We're all so busy, we had to worry about that. But in this market, you've got to worry about, you've got to be thinking about how do you use business to get more business. That's number 1. Number 2, leverage people. Because you can talk to more people or have more people talk to more people for you. And I would suggest you can leverage people, help new people, help young people. That's why I'm on this call. Some of you are brand new and need direction. I'm here to help. Some of you are experienced. Let's work together. Some of you are experienced, find a new person and help them. But we got to work together. And if you can blend, like in my case, I try to blend my experience and strength and clarity and expertise with somebody who's newer, maybe younger, more energy, more desire to get started. Put those two together, it's a powerful combination. So you want to leverage momentum. 2, you want to leverage people. Number 3, leverage your money. If you're going to invest in something, you need a return for your investment. If I'm going to invest in a real estate deal, I want to generate some commissions or referrals. I met with a company last week. We talked about doing some investing. And I said, look, when I invest, I either want to get the commission on the sale or I want to develop new business because that improves my rate of return. If I get a 5 or 6% return on my investment, but I also get a listing, that's a great investment, typically, right? So I want to leverage my money to work for me. And I say for you, don't spend money that's not going to get you return for your investment. There was a line I heard, I've never listened to Jay-Z's music, nothing against him, just not my flavor. But I understand the song, a line from a song he says is, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business, man. I'm a business. And so for me, if I'm going to invest in something, when I do something, it has to all tie together. It has to support my business. This, and I've been saying this now for 4 years straight. I believe it's true. This is the best opportunity in my 36-year career ever to build income and wealth right now. I think it's been getting better because as it gets harder, it weeds out the competition. There's never been more money available despite all the problems in the world and all the uncertainty and all that stuff. There's never been more capital sloshing around looking for returns. There's never been more technology to help you talk to more people to find those returns and execute them ever in my experience. And I invite you to play with me. And if you're struggling, I invite you to reach out for help. Let me help you and let this group help you. So that's my message for the day. Questions, comments, am I crazy? Go ahead and challenge me. Am I on track? Share your story. How can we help each other here today? Raise your hand, put it in the chat box. How can I help? Anybody? It's meant to be participative. I really don't want to talk all that much, but I kind of got on a roll here. Anybody? No?
We're stunned by your brilliance.
Stunned by your red shirt, Jack. Anders, what do you got going?
No, I totally agree with what you're saying, and it's just a question of how you what you want to do and figure that out, because as you say, there are so many opportunities right now, and also you're talking about technology, and technology makes it possible to do what you're doing and not just be in Los Angeles, for example. But
Right.
if you're a realtor, you need to stay within California, but you could sit in Los Angeles and do things up in San Francisco, for example. And technology helps you do that and look at those opportunities. Instead of in my little farm there is not much going on, which I probably wouldn't agree on, because if you know your farm, you know that there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. Well, I'll share with you. I personally have business. I'm a team member in Atlanta, Georgia, or actually Athens, Georgia. And this month I've already sent out leads for listings in Washington, D.C., Michigan, New York, and California. And so one of the reasons I got into probate real estate was I think real estate is becoming a national business. Now we know about national franchises, but really most realtors are local. There's a collection of them in an office, and then there's a collection of offices called a franchise. But really there's a collection of local businesses. But just like in your neighborhood, your restaurants are becoming national franchises. I think your car repair places, Goodyear, Firestone, oil change places are becoming more nationalized. Retail stores are more. Bookstores are out of business or national companies. Grocery stores, it was Rouse, but now it's really Kroger's. I think real estate is becoming a national business. And so for me, I've really worked at trying to build a business that scales up nationally. I think anybody can. I think you have to have some way to take advantage of the opportunities of the marketplace that are unique. And if you can play them to your advantage, there's unlimited opportunity. And so for me, I have to say, for the first time in my career, I have business. I'm getting paid currently in 2 states, but I'm getting money hopefully in the future, seeding the future fruits nationally.
Yeah, I would, and I it's interesting that you're talking about that you have you can do business in other states, because the EXP was leading in building and taking what Uber and Lyft had done on the transportation side, and
Right.
and EXP made that into real estate. And my wife is EXP realtor. She doesn't really pursue it that much, because she does it when she used her realtor certification when she sells and buys for her own real estate investing. But we added solar to our business, and so I do most of the solar stuff with Power, and Power have looked at EXP and basically copied what EXP have done and to solar. So I can sit here in California, and I was talking to a homeowner in North Carolina and helping them go solar. So I think that is finding those and taking opportunities and looking at multiple streams of income and multiple opportunities is the way to go. And if you can figure that out, you are the evidence that it works.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're another example. The solar's been around for a little while, but now you have a chance to do solar business across the country. That didn't exist 5 years ago. Now, do you have to be better than you were 5 years ago? I think so. I think it's harder. You have to talk to more people, have a better system, be better follow-up or whatever. But if you do, you have an opportunity that didn't exist. And to the victor goes the spoils in business like this. So Matt's asking for any off-market property at a good discount. Glad to hear it, Matt. Matt, where do you live or where do you operate out of? Give a little detail. I mean, I think, yeah, definitely those opportunities. Well, look, thanks for sharing that, Anders. I didn't know your wife was a member of the club, which means
she is, yeah.
Which means you are by definition.
Yeah. So I do. I'm on because I like being on online networking and things like that. So I do for both of us both on the investing side, on the solar side.
Nice, great, good. Well, thanks for sharing that. And again, I didn't mean to make this an advertisement about EXP. What I do want to do is point out what was not possible 5 years ago is possible today, and I think is going to be the norm going forward. And that's true of all businesses, right? Imagine you were a restaurant and with COVID and you had, let's say your biggest problem was bad parking. Well, COVID kind of solved that now with all these delivery services and ghost kitchens and other ways they can deliver product to their customers. So it's time to pay attention and take advantage of the opportunity. And it's true to some degree in real estate in particular, we're sailing into the wind with high interest rates, but it's not that bad. I mean, I talk to people all the time. I say, well, now we're in a bad market. And I say, well, stop. The market, the numbers are down 30%. The prices are up 40% since the COVID started. So yeah, the volume's down, but the dollar's about the same. And if a third of the agents leave the business, a bunch of investors get out, it just leaves more for the rest of us. So it's not that bad. Maybe to sharpen our pencils a little bit and roll up our sleeves. I can't roll up my sleeves because I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt like Jack is, but I like to show off my biceps for the girls. Okay, there you go, Jack. Okay, Jack. You're gonna scare somebody there. Okay, questions. Who here has a problem, challenge, question? Our format normally is interviews, and I'd like to do that. We had somebody cancel for today, and I just thought I really had a burning desire to talk about this is not a bad market. There really is no bad or good market. There just is what there is. If you've ever played, poker or bridge, there's no bad cards. There's just the cards you're dealt. I used to play in college. I used to play competitive tournament bridge. In a tournament bridge, what happened, the cards are kind of pre-dealt in these containers. All four players in bridge, you have a partner across the table, and then your opponents sit to your left and right. And there's like a device that you play your cards and then put them back in each of your own hands. So the person sitting in the north puts them in the north, the south. And the same cards are replayed. There's maybe 20 or 30 sets of these cards done ahead of time. So everybody takes a turn at a table playing the exact same cards. And where you really make your progress in bridge is when you have the worst hand, but you can make the other team lose. You have the best cards and you can't make any progress. Sometimes the cards are so good, everybody wins that hand, of course. You can't really do better than that. But if you have a losing hand and manage to win with it, you get ahead of everybody. And so it's not the cards are good or bad. Yes, it's more challenging and you have less momentum from the wind. But I'm going to tell you, this is the opportunity of a business. And with so many people stopped and distracted and frustrated, this is the chance to reach out, try some new things, I would be careful with money you spend, but I would say definitely reach out and expand your business now. That's what I'm doing. I'm having great success with it. Okay, so I don't see any questions. I didn't really have much more to talk about. Unless some of you, any of you guys have a problem we can share or work on together?
No, but I can share a long going story that's finally seems to be ending now.
Mhm.
So if some of you that are on there might remember about a year ago, half a year ago, so my wife and I had a property in Cypress Hills. It took forever to get permitting, and we eventually decided to find a buyer for it and sell it, and another investor took it over and did the renovation. So that property is now finally on sale. It's done and it's out on the market. And about what I was thinking is that was it your last week's speaker? What's her name? That you had on last week?
Liron?
Yeah, Lee Ron. She was talking about she used an expediter to get all the permits, and we did not use that. We had an architect that helped us. Unfortunately, that didn't work out very well. So it got stuck in the permitting um, black hole of the city of Los Angeles. But it took almost 1.5 years to get the proper permits for that property. But now it's finally done. It's on the market, and my wife is representing the property. But I can from our experience, I know there are many on here that have experience with the city of LA. But if you don't have that, find someone who knows how to maneuver that. Maneuver the permitting.
So, well, thank you. Definitely, I think when you play with great professionals, you definitely have a better chance for success. And Liron talked about that last week, and glad to hear you kind of echo the same thing. You can learn it on your own, but it's going to be a challenge sometimes. We do get a question on YouTube, and if you are watching online, YouTube or Facebook, you can feel free to jump in and ask a question, and we will answer it. So Zoe asks, speaking of franchise, what do you think about HomeVestor? I'm thinking to join their franchise. So HomeVestor is a service that it's a franchise, I understand. I looked into it. That buys homes. They pool money together for marketing, and the advantage is because you're with multiple people, the money goes further when you combine it, and then also geographically they can market an area not appropriate for individuals, but maybe for the whole group, and then split the leads up based on those geographies. So the actual company name is HomeVestors, HOMEVESTORS.com. There's a website. And their main brand, as I know it, is We Buy Ugly Homes. So they have franchises, and I've been to the meetings, and really, I think excellent. There you go. We buy ugly houses or not. There you go. That's ugly or not. So this is their consumer facing, where sellers would come here and give them a house to buy, and then the backside of it, they have a franchise model where you can buy into their marketing and then you get some of those leads. And it was expensive. It was a real commitment for full-time businesses. So Zoe, I don't really have any personal experience. I know people do it, and the couple I know who do it do really well and really think a lot of it and have been for a long time. They used to have a monthly meeting in person, and I used to go to that, and I was kind of learning their system, getting ready to invest, and then COVID hit. And I don't think they do meetings in LA currently. So haven't been reacquainted with them since COVID, but I would definitely say my experience with them is positive, but I can't say it as an investor, just more seeing their operation and seeing their people. So hopefully that helps explain things a little bit for you, Zoe. And by the way, either way, thank you for being on the call and asking a question here on our YouTube. Georgia Tech, I see your hand up. How can we help you?
Hi. Yeah, you know what? I've been trying to, I'm a real estate investor, here in California. I mean, real estate agent here in California. I really want to start investing other states. And also I'm trying to find out, is anybody doing it here in the group that, can actually some kind of guidance they can tell me, like how to find out what states are, that best to go to because I have an investor with me. She has about, I would say a good 200,000 cash. So we're trying to find them, she said she's trusting me to multiply her money. So that's the way.
Are you clear on what kind of product you're looking for and what states you're looking for? Or are you open to all that?
No, well, that's the thing that I'm trying to do. What is the best way to find out what states to invest in, and how to find out what market to go to?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of education opportunities. Personally, I invest out of state. I invest in Texas and Florida in multifamily properties. And personally, I'm a limited partner because I work full time in my business, and I enjoy what I'm doing. I don't have a lot of time to, and I'm not very hands on. So I rather work with successful teams.
Well, that's kind of what I'm looking for.
So we started and launched a multifamily call on Wednesdays to interview different companies and expose them to our clients. And actually, as a result, invested in a couple of them myself. And so we're going to launch that again after the holidays. We'll put that on hiatus for a little bit. But so that's one option. I'd say there's different multifamily Zoom calls that I go to that you might want to check out. And if you email me or text me, I'll send you a couple that I participate in and go on and learn and meet people. And then what I do is I invite them on my call. And then if I like, and then an idea they're going to teach my customers, and I'm just paying attention. And if I like it, I'll invest with them. So that's what I've done. There's a couple of groups that I've invested with that I feel good about. But I don't know what the current offerings are. I don't think they have anything right now. I actually have some cash I'm looking to invest. So I'm definitely on myself also looking for opportunities. Great opportunity this year for the extra depreciation. Last year and the year before, I made investments and I made a couple of $50,000 investments where you get back in the first year $41,000 loss to offset your income. So that was like real cash in your pocket right out of the gate, not to mention the return on investment. So definitely worth looking into, moving quickly if you can. So to answer your question, George, I don't have any particular answer for you other than it's a process to look at and research and learn. And like I said, our Wednesday call, we were doing that for a while, multifamily investing with Annabelle Pacheco. She did so well. She bought an investment. In Texas, she flipped it but she sold it a few years later, made about $1.5 million profit. She goes through the details of how she did that. And then she's invested that into a bigger development. So she got so busy with that, she kind of stopped the call, and I was trying to help run it for her for a while. And then I have enough other things going on. So we're going to relaunch that again in January. So stay tuned for that.
Okay.
And I'll stay in touch. George, where do you work out of? What area in LA?
I'm in the city of Palmdale, California, over here, and I work with Keller Williams right now. I just joined them. I was with another real estate company that didn't do so well, MV Realty. Have you heard of them? Yeah, they had a really good concept. They were actually paying people money to list a house in the future. So it's like we will call homeowners. I'll give you $2,000-$3,000, and if you ever decide to sell, we'll be the realtors.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened to that?
I guess they ran out of money or fun. And then a lot of people, because they were locked into that agreement for 40 years, so a lot of people didn't like it.
There you go. A lot of good ideas that work well in certain markets and don't work all the time, and that's a challenge. So, yeah, definitely, I would let's stay in touch. If I can help, let me know. And I appreciate being on the call today.
Okay.
So, yeah, good question. If you have any particularly good multifamily Zoom calls that you go to, I know there's one that I go to every week. It is Zoom at 8 with Julianne Peterson. And it's 8 o'clock Eastern time, but it's 5 o'clock our time on Tuesdays. And I'll send you her info. Let's see here. Here it is. She is fantastic. Where is the link to it? Oh, there's her contact info. I'll just put that in the chat box. How's that? And I think I had her on this call a couple weeks ago. She's fantastic. She's a lender, Old Capital, And so she brings her customers on, which is great now, because obviously she's not going to encourage people to invest in multifamily that aren't good because they're lending on the deals, right? So definitely, that's one of the best ones. And then if you just meet people on her call, you'll find all I did is I went on her call and started meeting people there, and found myself invited one after another. So say hi to Julie if you go on the call today at 5:00. Okay, I think I got all the questions, and I appreciate you guys participating today. This is the LA Real Estate Investors, LA County Real Estate Investor Association call. We do every Tuesday at 3 p.m. And then 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We live stream on YouTube and Facebook, and then Thursday, 2 days from today, we're going to be live at the Iman Center. Join us. Again, that is in the Culver City area. We get about 250 people will be there. It's Culver City, just south of 10 Freeway on Motor Avenue, and big group. And then you'll have a vendor expo with about 50 vendors you can learn. And great speaker, Steve Matley, how to acquire and develop raw land. I don't know if did I mention it's free? Free parking, free event starts at 6:30, but get there at 6 and you can hang out at the vendor expo and you'll see me there and say hi. So if I can help you with that, please join in. Hope to see you guys there. Come up and say hi. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.